Hello and welcome to Functions 3. The next part is going to be, well, what happens if functions get so out of hand that they're taking up most of the space in your program and it's just becoming too hard to read? Well, you can do this thing called modules where essentially you take them and put them into other um, files. Some of you may have already noticed that I have two tabs up today. One's a mods.py and one's a functions.py. And the functions.py is what we've been running before and doing getting the output from. Now, if you look at mods.py, it used the exact same functions here. So really all I did was copy and paste. And because I can copy and paste, I can literally delete this. Now, once it's deleted, and I'm going to actually, in this case, kind of get rid of all the extraneous stuff that we've been doing so that we only get these pieces. So, in fact, let's just move this out of the way. So all we're going to do is set up two words, do a print goodbye, hello, goodbye sort of thing, and run it. But if you run this now, you are going to get this wonderful error because it doesn't know where goodbye is. So, and now be careful with this. We created this second py file, but let's take a look at where it is. So I'm going to bring up File Explorer, and I am first going to find where my example is. This one is called Functions up here, so I'm going to go to Functions, and you'll notice that my Functions py is in here. I put the mods py in the very same folder. Otherwise, you have to tell it where to go to find this. But let's just keep it simple first at here. So what I'm going to do is just type in the word import and then mods. So now we can use mods in any way, shape, or form. Now you might see the little squiggly line there. We'll come to that in just a second, because if I run this, it's still not going to like it. It's still saying goodbye is not defined. Well, because we use mods here, we actually have to refer to each one of these guys as mods dot and then the program name, so it knows to go out of this file and then find that goodbye. And let's make sure that goodbye is in there. Goodbye is there, and should run exactly the same. Now, if you see it, we get the nice output like we got last time, and everything works well. Some people like to actually shorten that mods thing. So you can actually pick out only one or two functions from a file, or you can even bring them all in. But let me just show you real quick what we can do. We can do one of these things from mods, import, and then star. When you do that now, you can take off all these mods. Now, do we have to name this thing mods? No. Now that's arbitrary, just like our function was our functions py file was arbitrary. Let's go ahead and run it, and as you can see, identical again output, and we don't have to type all that stuff. So it's up to you. Some people will even do, like I said, only bring in one or two. So I could say for mods import hello. And that will allow us to do just the hello command, but remember, if we do that, we're actually calling two different functions. So, well, oops, first it wants me to put I forgot I put the parentheses on. You don't even need those. So let's get rid of those first. And I'm going to, it says goodbye's not defined because we're only bringing in hello. So if we were to hashtag that out, or sharp it out, or pound it out, whatever you want to call that, now when we run it, it will work, but only for hello. So you can kind of control data that way and keep things a little safer. If you want to do one more step, which is type in as hey, then that we can put that down here as well. What we're doing with that is giving this a temporary renaming it. Now, why would we do this? Well, we might work with 15 people and we all might create a hello function that we want to put in a module. So instead of having everyone rename their hello functions, we instead just give them essentially an alias or a nickname. You can think of it that way. And then I can keep the hello in my file and then bring everybody else's in without it forcing the super redo. So if I'm hitting start, again, it still works. The hey works. And it's, again, just for convenience thing. All right, if this will be kind of short, well, I tell you what, we'll do one more thing because, and actually I'm going to go back here and star that. And if you noticed in some of these, let's hashtag this guy out and bring this guy back. So print goodbye. This calls goodbye, but then later on we have to call hey. But what happens if we wanted to call hey, or in this case hello, right away? We could do that. We could actually take this, and before we return anything, we could take in this term and say, I'm going to copy that, call, and actually put this call in here. In fact, let's rename that back to hello because it's going to go to hello. So now this function calls this one. Sometimes they call it chaining, or I don't know if you want to call it linking, but kind of stringing these guys together. So you don't have to, you can essentially write a one line main program that just calls one function, it calls another, and then it all ends before you need to do another line in the main section. So here we go. We're going to call hi, but we got to make sure that everything is here, because remember, just saying does not exist and words does not exist in here because we didn't pass them in. So I am going to do X here, and I am going to do X here, which is perfectly kosher. Oops, except for the fact that it's case sensitive and you don't want you want a big X. So it's going to pass by for both word and middle, or if we want to get actually, let's do it once that way just so you can see it. Hi, bye bye comes out after the goodbye. But remember, since we already have a default parameter on there, we can run it again, and then we can see how Don says bye. Yeah, so you can get pretty creative with this. Probably the next time I talk to you, we'll talk to you about classes. These will look a lot like mods, but they aren't, and functions, but they are not, because they're going to give out unique identities to unique things. So if you have any questions right now about functions, go ahead and I will, or put them on the, post them on the Q&A, and I will talk to you soon.